My name's Charlotte Oakes. I'm Equalities and Diversity Coordinator. I'm chairing this session. I don't think it needs much chairing. Karen Bell has offered to speak on an issue which she's done a lot of work on. The workshop will look at how the Green Party can better prioritise and represent the interests of working class people, how working class people can find a voice in the party, and how we can encourage working class people to join and vote for the Green Party. Our speakers, Green Party member Karen, an environmental equality activist and researcher. She's from a manual working class background and has lived most of her life on council estates. She's also worked in working class communities for over 20 years as a community development worker. She's also been an equalities trainer and has researched environmental equality for the last 4 years at the University of Bristol. She's come up from Bristol. Karen will talk for about 15 minutes, or maybe a bit longer, and show you a short film for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have a chance to talk. Sorry, because the hidden thing has caused us to have less time. And then we'll talk about questions and comments. So without further ado, thank you, Karen. Thanks for everyone squeezing in.
Karen, may I ask you one question before you begin? Can you define clearly and unequivocally what working class means?
Can I just make a request that if I can go and talk and then maybe have questions at the end, because there's quite a lot to say, but thanks for the question.
Could you speak up just a little bit,
yeah,
please?
okay. Sorry, I don't speak up. Okay, well basically I'm standing here because I think that the Green Party can change the world. And I'm sure most people are here for that reason. But I think what's stopping us changing the world is the fact that we haven't got the majority of people in this country who belong to the working classes involved in the party. So I'm going to talk about what I think we should do further. Can you hear me at the back? Yes. Yeah? Okay. Okay, well, I've got this leaflet here with me, which we use for electing in Clifton in Bristol. And it's got our policies on it: protect public services, more green jobs, protect the local economy, public transport, protect green spaces, school for every child, local community health centres. These are all policies that appeal to working class people. But I think what's happening is it's the way that we're organising ourselves and the way we're prioritising things, which is stopping us getting the people that could be in the party, which is what I'm going to talk about. When I carry this leaflet around with me, which is why it's a bit battered, quite sadly, and I kind of wave at people when they start saying, the Green Party's like this and that. And, even when I tell people the policies, working class people, they're like, yeah, but isn't it just a party of middle class people? And whether that is the case or not, people are afraid to be surrounded by middle class people when they're from a working class background, because it reminds them of the teachers, the lawyers, the doctors, the social workers, the bankers, the people that have controlled them their whole lives. And it makes people afraid. So we have to change the Green Party by getting those people into the party. But in the meantime, we've got to make it a welcoming place, a place where we deal with working class issues, where working class people get listened to, and where working class culture is appreciated, and people try to understand working class struggles. So back to the nice question there, what are we talking about? I've got to cover that because we always end up on a side road if we don't quickly talk about that. Obviously we could go on all day. So, if we're not clear about it, we get people saying, well, we're all working class in the Green Party because we all work, which makes David Cameron part of the working class as well. Or, we get the Marxist definition, which says it's all about our relationship to the means of production, which, yes, it is, but that also means that, most of the people then are in members of the working class in the Green Party, because most of us are being exploited in the workplace. But what I'm talking about today is more of a mix of income and opportunity and culture, and the kind of common notion of middle class. But if you want me to be a little bit more specific and very quickly, I can also put my academic hat on for a few seconds and just say, there's basically 4 ways of looking at class. There's the Marxist way, which is about relationship to means of production. There's Weber's way, which is about status and people's credentials and professionalism. There's the Office of National Statistics, which looks at A, B, C, D and E, and C1, C2, C3, which depends on your type of job and how professional you are. And there's also an up-and-coming series which is to do with a French sociologist called Bordeaux, which links class to culture. But what I want us to think about it, everyone's going to have their own idea, we'll never get to the bottom of it, but if you could just bear with me and think about it in terms of the common understanding of middle class, which is about income, professionalism and culture. And, you know, we know, well, my feeling is that in the Green Party, most people do come from a middle class background in the sense that, you know, their parents were professionals or had a certain amount of a certain level of income and wealth, who, you know, they don't drop their teas, they know what an avocado is, and all these kind of things. There's a mix of culture and ways of doing things. So does class matter? Maggie Thatcher apparently said that class is a communist concept. So I think that maybe, because we've all been taught to think communism is, you know, something evil, then, you know, obviously class has to be evil as well. And she managed to drive it out of our mentality for about 20 years. And it's only just recently, and thank God, because I've been talking about this for years and nobody wants to listen to me. But now I'm allowed to talk about it again. You know, you've got Holly Toynbee on Radio 4 talking about the class ceiling, which is a really interesting series. You've got Owen Jones, which I'm going to be talking about a lot after a while because I love this man. He's middle class and he's brilliant. You know, so now we can talk about class again. But even yesterday, when I went to the equalities meeting, you know, the woman who introduced it, she's here, but she talked about 3 different groups. There's middle class people, there's rich people, and there's the underclass. So once again, you see, working class has disappeared.
I forgot the feral.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about, does class matter? Well, I think it matters for I'm just going to talk about 4 aspects of the way class matters. It matters in terms of education opportunities. I'm sure most of you know that numerous studies have shown that social class is the most significant factor in determining your exam results. We're continually told that's because working class people don't have aspirations or this or that. It's always our fault. And there's no interest in, you know, do these kids have books? Do they have computers? Do they have trips? Do they have access to all kinds of cultural things? You know, the things that we could actually change, but instead of that, there's something wrong with working class attitudes. And then secondly, class matters in terms of health. In the 1980s, the Black report came out with massive evidence on health inequalities depending on class position or linking it to income. They didn't talk so much about class. And that hasn't changed. Even the Marmot Review in 2010 showed it's the same patterns. Working class people die earlier and they are more likely to suffer from chronic diseases. And that's all kinds of diseases. And once again we're told that, you know, it's our own fault because we smoke and we eat too much and this and that. And one of the reasons why I don't think that it is just all our own fault is because of environmental inequalities, which are strongly linked to class. Now I've got to do my technological bit, so it's all really hard. This is all inequality around the world. Well, basically, poorer people in the UK experience more environmental bad and less environmental goods than better off people. High levels of pollution, lack of access to healthy food, fuel poverty, transportation inequalities, lack of access to green space. This is nitrogen dioxide, which is linked to respiration problems. You can see the poorer wards, far more problems than the better off wards. This is PM10, which is particles in the air, again linked to breathing difficulties. this is the polluting sites, which can be factories or hazardous waste disposal areas, far more in the poor areas and the rich areas. All this is linked to cancer. These are the health issues that we don't talk about when we talk about why working class people and poor people are more likely to suffer health inequality. Access to green spaces, people in deprived areas have 5 times more parks and green space than other people. This is a map of Bristol. Sorry, I'm whizzing you through it so you don't have time to talk. But you know, you can see that all the factories are in the poorer areas of the city, and this is just why it's important, because it links to health and massive reports of links to heart disease, cancer, strokes and everything, which I'm sure this is all very familiar to you as people in the Green Party. And lastly, class matters in terms of income difference. Danny Dorling yesterday, Danny Dorling, here's one of his books, another absolutely brilliant person. You know, we're becoming an ever more unequal society. It's the most unequal it's been since the Second World War. LSE was recently produced a report, London School of Economics, that wealthy people are 100 times better off than poor people. Massive evidence about that. In a minute I'm going to talk what we can do about all of this. But I just want to show you first a quick video, which I don't know if people have seen. It was a programme on BBC called Poor Kids. Did anyone see it? Yeah. I'm just going to show you, not very long of that. Just a reminder, you know, how people in this country, which is quite useful when we're thinking how to get people involved. You know, which people are talking about it.
The gap between rich and poor in the UK is now wider than at any time since the Second World War.
It doesn't get any better, it gets worse and worse as the days go on.
We asked 4 children to show us what life is really like growing up in Britain today below the poverty line.
Shopping. There. Shopping there. Shopping there. Shopping there. Shopping there. Shopping there. There's all sorts of things that happen bad around here in my life. Money is the main priority. I always worry about it.
All of the children in this film have their parents' permission to talk to us. They live at home, and they speak for the 3.5 million or so kids who are living in poverty in Britain today. This is their story.
My name's Sam, I'm 11 years old and I live in Leicester.
Sam lives with his dad and older sister. His mum walked out on the family on Sam's 2nd birthday. The poverty line for Sam's family with 1 parent and 2 kids is just over £1,000 a month after housing costs. But they have to get by on far less than that.
I think I'm poor because we get 400 at 20.81. That goes on what we need and not what we want. We have to spend it on food and electric and gas. The electric is put on a key which goes into a box and Dad puts a fibre on every cell often. And when we run out of electric, the whole house goes. Everything just shuts off. Except for vacuum valves and candles. And the gas, when that runs out, the whole house is freezing. You see me running up bed, getting my candle just on my bed, and sitting there going like,
I'm just going to go on a little bit to another section. Oh yeah.
Well, to do them and
On tax credits.
How did it go wrong with the IT?
Courtney lives with her mum and her 3 sisters. 4 out of 5 children.
Anyone good at this who could help? Any suggestions? Not this.
Just go back and start the film again.
Can I just pass that round if you want to put your name on a contact list? I'll just use this moment to say that. So just put your email or whatever details on there, phone number or whatever you want to do. Anyone good at techno stuff?
We could watch this ourselves.
Try
the
the
F7
button. Discussion, do you think?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Because
The
people know
reason
where
I
it
You
wanted-
can easily find that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The reason I wanted to show because I wanted just to have in the if you could try that, just to have remind ourselves now while we're thinking about this topic, you know, exactly what it means to people. So basically, the issues that they're showing is, you know, like unemployment, shortage of food, lack of play space, fuel poverty, stress, chronic illness, children being bullied because of poverty. And it's not just a small minority of people, we're talking about 13% of children living like this, 25% of people in the country living like this. It's a huge amount of people, people that could be involved in the Green Party, people that the Green Party could be supporting. That probably people in this room come from those backgrounds. I came from that background. Those people are amongst us, and their issues are important issues. So, well, I don't think we're going to